I really wanted to sell my Sansui au-417, but I didn't. Here's why. Why did I even buy this stack of sansui components when I already owned a 717 and an 919? Is way back in, I don't remember, it's probably 10 years now. And as the au-417, these devices were sold locally, so I was able to drive there. It was like a 15-minute drive to pick up all the components. I only had taken one picture, I'll show you here, and it was the 2 amps, it was the tape deck, it was an equalizer, it was a turntable, and it was 2 tuners, which all were included in this package. And I knew I couldn't afford to keep everything, so I went there on a Sunday to pick up the components. My van was full of sansui, and I called up a friend that I knew was looking for a U series, and I told him, well, stop by and check out what I found. And he was asking me, well, which one are you selling? Or actually he asked, which one are you keeping? And I'm like, well, I don't know. It's depending on you, which one you want to own. So he decided for the au-717, and I got to keep the 919. We tested all the components, and everything was working, but I do remember he already had problems a couple weeks after he had bought the amp. With the balance, something was wrong, and I think he was driving it on just one side, which is crazy in my opinion. He should have gotten it repaired, and I even think he brought it to my hi-fi guy and he fixed it, but it wasn't fixed. And I got to keep the 919, which played excellent from the beginning and until I sold it. And I always regretted that I sold that beast of an amplifier. But that's just the way it is. In order to make room for new hi-fi equipment, I just had to get rid of it. And I remember this guy took a 3-hour drive just to come down here and pick up this massive au-919. Here's a picture of it with my Sansui G9700. And this beast sitting on top for size comparison. So that's the backstory on why I gotten the au-417 was more of a substitute for my 919, which it never really was. It really did not make any sense for me to keep the small 417, so I've been trying to sell it for, I think, 3 years now, and I was more than happy that finally somebody was interested in it, and we agreed to meet on a Saturday evening, and he stopped by. He had about an hour drive, and the 2 components, the tuner and the amp, were stored in my little storage area, which is well temperatured and not humid at all. Well, he showed up on Saturday, and I got the components and hooked them up. And what do you know? One channel was playing as if you had a broken needle on your system. It was very scratchy and distorted. The other side played very well. So I'm like, oh, bummer. Now this guy has been on the road for an hour to get here, and I'm trying to sell him some broken hi-fi equipment. And before I stored the components away, I took care of the illumination of the tuner, which still worked. And the amplifier was at my hi-fi guy's place for him to check if everything works. And he said everything works. So, and I did already have the 417 hooked up, and I was listening to it for a couple of weeks until I decided to put it in storage. So that's just the way it is with this old hi-fi equipment. Things go bad. And I felt sorry for the guy, and we went back to my storage compartment, and I offered him a dual 1260, but that didn't have enough power. He also was interested in my Sansui G8700 that is up for sale, but he was not wanting to pay the $1,500 that I'm asking. So he saw the Sansui G5700, which I actually didn't really want to sell. But I felt sorry for the guy coming here and me showing him a defect device, that we agreed that he would buy the G5700. So I made him a great price on that. He only paid $450 for a Sansui G5700, fully working and in excellent cosmetic condition. If you want to see it, I made a video about it. Go check up the link up here. I also made a video of this guy back here. The link is right there, so you can watch those two later. Anyway, so obviously I was stuck again with the AU417, and I no longer have my hi-fi guy repairing things for me. So it's time for me to start repairing my own stuff. And that's what I did. Here's the story. After I opened it up, these huge capacitors didn't really look that promising, and one of them is like really burnt. Here, this one, I'm not sure if you can see this. Can you? Yeah, this one is burnt. And all the other ones, they didn't look that fresh anymore. So I decided to order these four and some smaller ones that look kind of suspicious. I replaced these capacitors, I put everything back together and checked the sound, and what do you know, the thing is working great again. So I figured the small capacitors that I already bought that I told you looked suspicious, I re-looked at them, and I guess they are okay. Never change your running systems. I'm more than happy that this sucker plays again, and I really liked the sound of it again. After replacing the caps, it's really like night and day. Also, I did not only change the two of the one soundboard, I also replaced the other channel soundboard also, just for the looks. I mean, these are more massive than the ones that I ordered, even though they have the same specs. It's I guess just modern technology. So putting everything back together, this thing now works and actually is up for sale again. There is already a guy interested in it, and I'll see if I can sell the sansui au-417 after all. So this was my first recap, and I really don't want to call it a recap because I only changed 4 capacitors. All you pros out there, please bear with me. This was my first major repair that I diagnosed myself by looking at the components and telling which ones were burnt the most. I'm a complete noob when it comes to repairing things. I thought I'd just give it a shot, and what do you know? I succeeded, and it was a big boost on my Selbstvertrauen on repairing my own vintage hi-fi devices, which I have plenty of. So with no hi-fi guy around repairing my devices, I will have to do it myself. Maybe you, as a pro, can let me know in the comment section what else you would have what else you would have replaced and why. Because I really don't know. This was a shot into the blue to see if those capacitors were the ones causing the troubles, and they were. This thing sounds great again, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider giving me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, also hit the notification bell, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.